Well, here we are for round three?
Yeah.
Round 3 of the Pirelli Super Series 600 Championship, and today we're at Donington Park. I've just been out for the first session. Donington's a bit strange in that we have a track day on the Thursday and nothing on the Friday, so I actually log on at my computer and do some work on a Friday. But yeah, it's first session went really well. I'm wearing my new leathers, which, oh my god, the difference in like maneuverability on the bike after one session, unbelievable.
Speechless.
Yeah, pretty much speechless. Now my group is, I'm in the red group and it's pretty much fully BSB, so some people that sort of the brief and then people I've seen on the tracks. We've got Joe Talbot, Frank O'Born, Storm Stacey, Eugene McManus, I don't know, they're just the ones I've noticed. Oh, Richard Cooper, Barry Burrell, but obviously I race against Barry, but yeah, there's a lot of fast people here. New track surface, sublime, so smooth. So what I've noticed in that first session is I was struggling a little bit to get gears. I need to adjust the position of my gear changer, so it meant my movement across the bike was a little bit rusty because I was doing it last minute and the bike's bouncing around a bit. But because it's so smooth, I think I can get away with some more compression damping, so I am just going to be using the full day just to try and change the bike and, you know, get some data for the weekend basically. Also, I've done one session and as you may be aware, it does rip tyres to absolute shreds. It's torn quite badly on the right hand side already after just one session, so yeah, that is a little bit strange. A little bit like Silverstone, although there's no long hanging corners really where you're driving out of it apart from Coppice, but I'm not really bothered that it's torn. As long as there's rubber on there, then it'll go around. So yeah, I probably won't do that much update today, but I might just update you at the end. See you in a bit. Right, this might be a slightly strange angle, it might be moving around a bit. I've got to change my fork springs, well, change one of them. I'm going to go from a 9.5 to 9 to try and give it a bit more front end feel, so do a little time lapse now. We don't have all the correct tools, so if you see us butchering around with screwdrivers and that, I promise we're being careful. Go! That's it, as easy as that. Another red flag in that session, unfortunately, so only got 3 or 4 laps on the new spring on the front suspension. It did feel a lot nicer. Mid-corner, when you let off the throttle, it actually, oh, sorry, off the brake, it actually wanted to turn, which it doesn't normally want to do that, so good change. And I'm still not hitting my max braking because I'm still not using all the travel, so definitely a change worth doing. So that was the first session after we've had our lunch, so session 4 of 6. So much better, like so much better. I'm about a second off my PB now, but considering the winds must be gusting 30 mile an hour out there, feeling really good now. Rob Goodwin came off the back of his bike in that session, so hopefully he's okay. Well, that's the end of the track day. Not a single mark on the levers for today. That's not jinxing anything because I said for today. Great success, I like. Yeah, another red flag end of the day. I feel like I haven't actually done that much running, but the times what I've got down to, well, I say got down, I've done a 37.2 in that session, but been held up a lot by the 1000cc bikes, so Yeah, I feel good, and it's really windy. Obviously, I've got no onboard footage from today, but just take my word for it, it's very windy. So yeah, feel like in a good place. See what happens at the weekend, eh? Woo! Well, good morning. There's Luke Stanley, he doesn't even know it. He's been trying so hard to get on this vlog, so there we go, second appearance for him, and he's not yet aware. It's Saturday morning at Donington Park, the sun is shining, it's not too windy, it looks, well, it is dry. What more could you ask for? First bike's out at 2 minutes past 9, so about 1 hour and 10 minutes till we're out there. Feeling pretty good, test day went pretty well. Bike's ready to go, got some new tyres in, run SC2 front tyre for the first time this year. I've been on SC1 until now just because the temperature's not quite there. Have the tyre pressure's a little bit higher than normal, just because of the tearing what we had during the test day on the rear, and I'd rather not tear it a bit during qualifying because I've got to use at least this rear tyre and front for the next race. But yeah, ready to go. Feel confident, so let's see what we can do. Hopefully there's not too much traffic. He's only gone and put it on pole position, hasn't he? Woo! Go on, babe, say something for the camera. Richie! Woohoo! That'll do. I actually beat my very best lap time I've ever done, despite the fact there was wet patches going down Craner, which I was slowing down for a lot and compromised my line coming out the throttle, so if it stays dry, PBs are getting smashed to bits. Can't wait for the race now. Shame I didn't get to do a practice start, but... That's race one. All things considered, probably a slightly disappointing result, but I mean, it took so long to adjust to how much grip is available because there is an unbelievable amount of grip. So fourth place wasn't too bad, and I've done a lap time quick enough to start me fourth on the grid for tomorrow, so if it's dry then who knows what'll happen. But yeah, it might tear your tyres to bits in the dry, but to be doing lap times as wet as it was, only 8 seconds off the dry pace, is at a track that 100 mile an hour average, it's pretty impressive. So hopefully we can have a better race tomorrow. Good start though, so that's a positive. I'm not too upset about it either. You know, the lads that I'm racing against, well, apart from James, the other two were racing last weekend in the wet at Donington Park, and they've probably done the BSB tests here as well, so all things considered, decent result. Well, Sunday morning, and surprise, surprise, it's wet. I've already been to walk around the track. It is wet. An intermediate rear would probably be the best choice. I'm not on track for 2 hours, but it's pretty overcast, so interior would definitely be the best. Airplane. So yeah, as I was saying, intermediate rear would be best, but we haven't got one. I have got a pretty shagged 190 wet on a wheel, which I can use. I did use a 200 wet yesterday, so obviously they're all different in sizes. The 180, so we've measured them out along this line. That from there, going to there, and there's the difference, the 3 marks. We got a 180, 190 and a 200. I'm not going to tell you what the difference is though, you'll have to find out for yourself. But yeah, wet's in for this race. Another 4th place. I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record at the moment with 4th places. Made a decent start, but the track was just so greasy. You'll be able to see that it had like a real sheen on it. There was damp patches in places as well, so it's having moments. More on the front end than the rear. Obviously the rear you can kind of control by how hard you bring the throttle in, but on the front just it washing all the time, and yeah, just a lot of movement on the wet tyres on the dry end track. Aaron, who won the race, he had a wet front and an intermediate rear, so a small advantage there, but ultimately decent points. I say decent, what did you get for 13 points, so it's not great, but I did beat James and Barry in that race, so it's actually closed the championship up because the people that beat me were behind me on in the championship, apart from Sylvester, who is now, he'll be in front of me. So I'll probably be 4th in the championship now. Fingers crossed we get a dry race this afternoon, because I'm sick of running around on wet tyres like I'm on eggshells, so yeah, fingers crossed for some dry running. That's the end to a decent weekend overall, I think. The pace in that last race was mega. Obviously we hadn't had any dry running, or very little dry running, on the national layout. Obviously I did get to ride around the GP circuit on the Thursday, but it was really windy. Obviously, as you know, I qualified really well, pole position, doing my fastest ever lap. One wet race, one kind of in-between race. I finished 4th in both of those. Then in this final race, I ended up finishing 4th, but a race-long battle really, as you'll probably see in the footage. And I finished with yet another 4th place, so I can't complain. I went 6/10 faster than I qualified by, so I beat my PB this weekend by 1.2 seconds, I think. Something like that. I did a 10.5 in that race. I had a lot of pace. I dare say more pace than the people around me, but you know, utilising that is difficult. You're going to put a move on, and I did have some trouble with my brakes from about lap 5. It was just going all the way back to the bar, so I definitely need to be using the 700 brake fluid like I was last year, despite the fact I've got these better pistons in. That sort of did hamper me a little bit, but can't make too many excuses, sorry. It was still a, you know, good result, 3 4th places. Not enough to get me 3rd overall this time. I haven't looked at the points, but I would imagine I'm 5th overall. So yeah, decent weekend. Croft next in like 4 or 5 weeks. It should hopefully be drier, and we can stop running around on wet tyres on semi-dry tracks, because that is a nightmare. But thanks for watching, hope you found the vlog interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much, cheers. Well, I may as well vlog this as well. Yep, that's the M1, and this is less than ideal. Hello, and welcome to the vlog again. We're still at the side of the M1. The caravan hasn't been stolen by gypsies or pikeys. My dad came and got it, so thanks very much, Dad. But my van basically doesn't run at all. It doesn't respond to any kind of throttle input, and then eventually it just dies. There's something seriously wrong with the turbo. Hopefully there's nothing actually wrong with the engine. I mean, the compressor wheel feels fine, so nothing dodgy should have went into the engine. Plus there's an intercooler and everything in the way, so that should be okay. But I mean, whatever's going on with the turbine wheel, VNT, nozzle ring, all that stuff is definitely fucked. Now, thankfully, someone who I used to race with and a good friend of mine, Steve-O, knows someone who lives close to here, which is Barnsley. And yeah, we've been here a while now, but basically they're going to come and recover us, take us to Steve-O's friend's house, and then maybe lend us a vehicle to get home. If it's a van, then I can come back down on motorbike tomorrow, and drop that van off, and then hopefully it's just a case of getting the van recovered up to Hartlepool, you know, within the next week or so. And you know, hopefully that doesn't cost too much, because I mean, getting recovered from the side of the M1, if you haven't got a breakdown insurance, so you know, it's probably going to be a fortune. So yeah, join us for the next part of this vlog, which may never end. More episodes from the M1. So the recovery truck's here, and my friend also just happened to be driving up the M1, and I turned up exactly. This is Phil's debut on the vlog, I think.
Guns are here.
Fucking, this is expense that I do not need. Racing's expensive enough. I'm gonna have to be running scrubs all season now. What a piece of. It's the fastest it's moved in a few hours. I did have to push it off the caravan though. Good job I'm strong as out. Have you got anything to say?
I'm sad. I'm at work at 5:30.
It's 7:30 for reference.
And we're not home yet.
We've seen many Lamborghinis. This is the vlog that just keeps on giving. Make sure you subscribe. Well, this is probably the final bit to this vlog. I'm in the back of my mate's world's smallest van. All of it's that army stuff.
Gone back to the Blitz, haven't you?
Gone back to the Blitz, yeah. It's like being at Eden Camp for those of you that have been there. But we're finally on the way home. My van's at Lowmaster's yard. So again, thanks Steve-O for sorting that out. Yeah, so this is the end of the vlog. Well, I mean, it's not the end of the story obviously, because we've got to find a way to get my van home.